Show and Dr. Raj from IG RSF 49ers. We're going to break down a 2020, not fantasy football mock draft, but the NFL mock draft. And Dr. Raj is going to take us through the entire first round. And we're going to, of course, start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. But first of all, Dr. Raj, good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Just staying safe. I finally got some time off tonight. I worked, been working all week. Worked like 55 hours this week, but came home and I've been resting today. I was going to do some stuff, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Need some rest, man. It's been a crazy time, since I'm still working and everything. So,
yeah. Anything changing on that front for you just before we start?
No, just actually, there's so the hospitals are just taking a lot of precautions and they're trying to, do the best practices they can. So my facility, we got a new starting Monday. We're going to have like a whole new isolation wing. So whenever a new patient comes from the hospital, they're going to test every single patient that comes in just to be double safe. Even if they're, we're not taking any patients with COVID, but they're going to double test them and we're going to have an isolation section. So for 3 days, they have to stay there because they're coming from the hospital, even though they may not have it. They just want to be safe because you never know, because sometimes those tests the symptoms can take some time for them to show up. So we're going to isolate those patients for 3 days, and then if there's no, if there's negative results, then they get moved into the regular wings of the facility. So
for the NFL players, so let's talk about that real quickly, and then we'll get right into the mock draft. This is an NFL mock draft, not a fantasy football mock draft. For those of you saying, "Let me get in." Dr. Raj is about to drop, I'm sure, Burrow to the Bengals. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say if these players. I was on a live earlier, and Dr. Raj, you chimed in on this because we asked for your opinion. But if let's say these players want to start working out here together real soon, let's say next month, you can do a COVID test and get you can know if someone's got COVID-19 within 48 hours. Is that the thinking?
Yeah, 48 hours.
So you can carry it for 14 days or whatever, 20 days, whatever.
Like 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks. You get tested. You get results in 48 hours. I've known 2 people that have got tested person. So my student at my facility I work at, my student therapist I'm training, he had it, but he says it took 2 days for the results to come in. It was a Saturday. He got his results on Monday. And then my good friend today, he's been feeling sick. He has cough. He lives in L.A. He says, I just want to get tested to be, to make sure. They said he'll get the results. He says within 48 hours, if they call you, you have it. So I hope that I don't get a call.
So my question is not how long does it take for the results, but like let's say you had COVID-19. You don't show symptoms for 2 weeks, but will you for sure test positive within 48 hours if you were going to have it?
If you're going to have it, you'll test within those 2 days.
Okay, so that's good to know so that the NFL players can kind of, it's not like you have this 14-day window. I think a lot of people are kind of thinking that's how it is.
Yeah, no.
So, okay. Well, let's get into the mock draft, Dr. Raj. I have pulled up here picks 1 through 9. As you can see, Cincinnati Bengals are at the 1 pick. The Washington Redskins at the 2 pick. The Detroit Lions are at the 3 pick. The Giants at the 4. The Dolphins at the 5. The Chargers at the 6. The Carolina Panthers at the 7. And the Arizona Cardinals at the 8. If I have that wrong in the chat, let me know if I did anything there and goofed that up. But Dr. Raj, you're kicking it off. Who are the Cincinnati Bengals taking with this number 1 overall pick? And just briefly, so we can roll through this, why is it a good pick? Why is it a bad pick? Tell me.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into it with the number 1 pick. Hold on, let's pretend I'm the commissioner. I'm in my basement. Welcome to the NFL Draft 2020. We're in Zoom. It's gonna be it might actually be like what we're doing right now, video conference. So here he is. He walks up to the mic that he's got set up in his stage. He's got his mask on, and he says, with the number 1 pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback out of LSU.
Boo! Yeah! Boo!
Wild. The imaginary crowd. So it's got to be Joe Burrow. I mean, listen, they need a franchise quarterback. No disrespect to Andy Dalton, but, he's not the answer. He's been on that team for over a decade. They've gotten to the playoffs, and he has never been able to take them past that, get past that hump and make it further into the playoffs. Joe Burrow's the future. He's a good young quarterback. He's the top quarterback in the draft, hands down. You got to take a franchise quarterback when you're rebuilding. Most important player on a team is the quarterback. They need a new guy, and Joe Burrow is the consensus number one. If they don't take Joe Burrow, I'd be so surprised. He's the number one pick in the NFL draft.
Do you really believe he is by far the best quarterback in the draft?
I do. I watched him play at LSU. He's been great. SEC competition is, you know me, we talk about this all the time. SEC is the creme de la creme. It's the crop of the crop. It's the top of the crop. It's the best in college football, and he's dominated. He's done good. He's a national champion. To me, he has the tools to be a superstar. Short resume, but he hit it out of the park. So he did great, man. He looks like a winner, man. He just looks like a winner. I would love to have Joe Burrow on my team if I was building a team.
Okay, the Washington Redskins are on the clock. Who are they? First of all, briefly, what are their needs, and are they going to address them? And you can tell me who they pick.
You want me to make this pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do. I'm gonna
pick in the NFL draft. The Washington Redskins, they have to take a impact player. Okay, the biggest impact player they can take is the best player in the draft coming out. Last season, the 49ers needed an impact player, and on defense. And the Washington Redskins need an impact player on defense. Defense changes the game. You need pass rushers in the NFL, and pass rushers are a diamond. It's hard to find a good pass rusher, like Chuck Gruden said before. He was right. It's hard to find a good pass rusher in this league, and they have to get a dominating force for their defense to help them out. They didn't have a great elite defense, and they had a bad offense. They need to have a defense that can help their offense out. Chaisson, to me, is the best talent in this draft. It's just like the Niners did last year with Nick Bosa. This is the move. You take Chaisson, the best pass rusher in the draft, and you solidify the big weapon on your defense. The D-line is the heart of a defense. The game is one of the trenches. You need a monster on the line, and they need Chaisson on the Redskins.
And who's going to be better, your man Bosa or Young?
Man, that's too early to tell. Right now, Bosa, of course, because he's got the season under his belt. But Chaisson has infinite potential. They say he's better. They say he's got more potential. But right now, Nick Bosa's proven it. But damn, man, Chaisson has talent to be a star.
Detroit is on the clock. I'll chime in when there's some offensive stuff, but Dr. Raj, I'm going to let you...
Real quick, I'm just going to grab my charger real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back. Hold that thought.
Yeah,
I'll
talk about the... So, looking at the rest, honestly, I'm gonna chime in on a lot of the offensive stuff. I'm gonna let Dr. Raj handle the defensive players and offensive linemen and all the things he's good at talking about as he researches this topic for his own 49ers. But I will say, the Giants to me would be the first team that truly needs a wide receiver. But I don't know that they're going to take a wide receiver. Everybody tells me they will not take a wide receiver, but I kind of feel like it's not out of the question. Dr. Raj, is Jerry Judy at number 4 at least in the conversation for the Giants? I imagine he is.
No, not at all. The Giants need defense. The Giants need O-line. That's what they need.
I'm a best player available guy, and to me this would be a no-brainer to at least consider. That's at number 4 though. But let's talk about number 3. So who's going to Detroit at number 3?
Detroit at number 3. With the number 3 pick in the NFL draft, the Detroit Lions select cornerback out of Ohio State, Jeffrey Okudah. This is a high spot for a cornerback. Cornerbacks are never usually taken this early, but Jeffrey Okudah is hands down the best cornerback in the nation. This guy, he has the tools to be the next elite cornerback. They got to take Okudah. They have no defense. They couldn't stop a runny nose. They couldn't cover a runny nose. And they play in a division where they have to play against, Aaron Rodgers. They got the Lions. They got the Vikings, who they're going to add some receivers on their team in this draft. And who else they play against? The Bears, they're not a vertical threat, but they got to get some defensive players, especially at cornerback. You got to get some secondary players. And Okudah is a talent that it's hard to pass up. I could see them taking maybe an Isaiah Simmons here, but it's hard to pass up on Okudah. This guy's combine is impressive. His film is impressive.
he's just a lockdown corner, and he's the best corner in the draft in my eyes.
Okay. I just got to save this. So we got Burrow at 1, Young at 2, Okudah at 3, number 4. The Giants are on the clock. Who are the Giants rolling with? I again would consider Judy myself, but I don't run this organization. They're not going to do what I want. Nobody saw them taking Daniel Jones, though. I'm just saying.
No, nobody's. The Giants. Okay, listen. Be real. The Giants are a team that are they're hard to predict, honestly, because you never know with them. You never really know. Like, you think you have them figured out, but you really don't. So, to me, I think they need offensive lineman for Daniel Jones.
JP just said it, too. He said Giants took Danny Dimes.
They did.
Yeah.
You need a offensive lineman, in the draft. They need to get an offensive lineman, and they also need to get defense. So I'm torn right here on this pick. I think they either take linebacker out of Clemson, Isaiah Simmons, or they take Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of Georgia. If I have to really think about it, I think they're going to take a tackle to help, get some protection up front for Daniel Jones, because you got to protect your franchise quarterback at the end of the day. And I think the move right here is tough. I really think that they take, I don't know, man. I think they take Andrew Thomas. He'll be the first tackle taken with the number 4 pick. It's so close because I think they can take Isaiah Simmons too.
Thomas?
Yeah, I'm going to say Andrew Thomas. I go back and forth with Isaiah Simmons.
The pick's in.
The pick's in. Oh, right, my commish. We made the run. No, that could happen.
Miami, who has a lot of picks in this first round.
Miami has this is big right here. This is a spot. So I think Miami's going with the quarterback. Okay, they failed on the project of the Josh Rosen trade last year. We all know what happened last year with Kyler Murray. The Cardinals. Oh, we're team Josh Rosen. Boom, they were lying. It was smokescreen season, and they traded Josh Rosen to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins thought, hey, we got ourselves a young quarterback on the rise. We're going to rebuild around Josh Rosen. Didn't last long. They're going to draft a quarterback in this draft, and it's going to be between Tua or Justin Herbert. They got to see which one they really like better. Are you going to roll the dice on Tua after the broken hip wall, or are you going to take Justin Herbert, who has no injury concern? I think the Dolphins, because they're really pressed for a quarterback, I think they take Herbert here, and they're going to surprise a lot of people. They don't take the gamble on Tua. I think they go with Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, Tua would be interesting. I think Tua looks healthy. So, real quickly, speak to that. I mean, that injury is brutal, but he looks good.
Yeah, everybody's saying he's looking good. He's rehabbing well. He's healing. And again, this is what we talked about a couple months ago. It's a dangerous injury, but he's young. He can rehab. Orthopedic injuries, they can resolve. He's working hard to prove himself. But, I mean, that's a tough injury to come back from. So even if he's looking good, we don't know how he's going to feel on the field when he starts taking hits and he starts running, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think the safe pick here is Justin Herbert. Tua's got the upside. He's definitely the guy that you like. It's intriguing, but I think they got to be safe, and they roll with Herbert here. But yeah, Tua looks nice. He looks healthy. From everything I've read, he's trending upwards.
Alex says, if Tua isn't next, I'm leaving. Is Alex leaving?
He's not leaving. With the number 6 pick in the NFL draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback out of Alabama.
I'm just going to put Tua so it doesn't take up the whole damn line.
Yeah.
Tua. Okay, explain.
That's the pick. So let's review so far. We got Joe Burrow, number 1 pick. Chaisson, number 2 pick. Jeff Okudah, Andrew Thomas, Tua, and
Herbert.
Justin Herbert, and then Tua.
Carolina. My Cardinals are on deck here. So Carolina, what is their biggest need, and do they address it?
I think
I think right now their biggest need is probably just shoring up and getting a playmaker on defense. They got some good weapons on offense. They got CMC, of course, and they got some weapons out there on offense. But I think they really, really, really need to get a playmaker on defense. Last season they got Brian Burns as a pass rusher, and he was a pretty solid pass rusher. So they need to keep adding to that to build their defense. And I definitely think right here with the players available, I think they go best available talent and shore up that defense. And you got to go Isaiah Simmons. You cannot pass on Isaiah Simmons. If he's sitting there right here, number 7, that's a steal at 7. Isaiah Simmons, because these other teams ahead of him needed a quarterback, they're getting he's arguably the best defensive player in the league. I know Chase Young, I said that Chase Young's the best. Isaiah Simmons makes his case too. Simmons would be a smash home run pick right here.
Okay. Let me just make sure. Okay, it's all good to go. So next up are my Arizona Cardinals. What's our biggest need in your opinion, and will we address it? Announce the pick, Commish.
So honestly, I see this two ways, and we've talked about this a lot. I see the Cardinals need defensive help. They've really revamped that offense. We know how great that offense can be, but their other need is offensive line because their offensive line is not that great. And if Kyler Murray is supposed to be the man and is supposed to do everything he needs to do, they got to keep that man upright. They got to prevent people from coming at him, running at him, and passing at him. Because in the NFC West, we got a lot of pass rushers. You got Nick Bosa, D Ford, you got the Chargers, or you got the Seahawks. They always have a good defense. And then you got the Rams. They got Aaron Donald. So to me, I think the move is taking the best tackle. And right here, it's going to be between Mekhi Becton and Tristan Wirfs. I think Becton is the better prospect, but you got to keep an eye on him. He had his urine sample flagged this week. They said that a couple prospects had the urine flagged. It could drop his stock, but I'm sure they'll look into it. But honestly, Mekhi Becton, tackle out of Louisville, he's hard to pass up here. He's a very powerful tackle, and I think that's the move. Mekhi Becton, the tackle out of Louisville.
Okay. Do you guys hear that? You hear audio? What the heck? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I have to close that. I had a page open that was blaring music. Okay. Becton. I'm not sure if you guys could hear that audio. Maybe it was just in my ear. Am I spelling that right? Becton?
Yeah, Becton. Mekhi Becton.
That's the man.
Mekhibec.
I like this, and the Cardinals. Let me just say this: that Hopkins, and we've said this before, or I've said this before on a bunch of lives with you. Hopkins alone is going to make that offensive line better, and I think that this will just be icing on the cake, baby.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, let's review it real quick, Dr. Raj.
Okay, so far we have 8 picks are in. We have Joe Burrow, Chase. So the Bengals take Joe Burrow. The Redskins take Chase Young. The Lions take Jeff Okudah. The Giants take Andrew Thomas. The Dolphins take Justin Herbert. The Chargers take Tua. The Panthers take Isaiah Simmons, and the Cardinals take Mekhi Becton.
Okay, I like it. And a question here from Corey. Corey wants to know thoughts on the Dolphins. If the Dolphins should trade their 3 picks to get Burrow.
Oh my God, I don't think they're gonna value one guy that much because Burrow's good, but for them to give up that much draft capital, it'd be crazy. This is why they're in this position. They wanted all this draft capital. They didn't trade Minkah Fitzpatrick for nothing. You know what I mean? They got the draft prospect over the last couple of years. They've been fire selling their players. They've been trading players. They've been accumulating this draft capital so they can stack this young talent and build a team. There's no way I think that they trade all their pieces for the future for one guy. Burrow's great, but they can get a solid quarterback in Herbert or Tua, and then they still got 2 other picks in the first round, and they can get a wide receiver, they can get a lineman, they can get a great defensive player. There's no way, in my mind, that they trade those draft picks for Joe Burrow. There's no way. If they do, I'd be so surprised.
Unless O'Brien's involved. Okay. Jacksonville up at the 9 spot.
Jacksonville's a hard one for me to kind of predict here. I could see them going different ways. I think they can surprise folks and take a wide receiver here and start to run on wide receivers. They might sit there and say it's hard to pass up on a CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Judy, Henry Ruggs type of guy. They might sit there and say, God, we can get a weapon from Minshew. Or they can sit there and say, okay, we can stack another great defensive line guy on this team. Because last season, where they go? Number 7 pick, they took Josh Allen, who was a hell of a pass rusher. You keep stacking that defense. The Niners show. You stack defense, you get that talent up front, and you make it hard for other teams.
Are you thinking Brown?
I'm thinking Derrick Brown, but I can also see them pull the wool over everybody's eyes and go wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. But here is the pick with the number 9 pick in the NFL draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars select Derrick Brown, defensive line out of Auburn. They got to stack that defense.
Let's see how this mock stacks up against everybody else once it's all said and done, Dr. Raj.
I really think Derrick Brown would be, if they passed on him.
I'm liking it so far. I'm feeling very accurate here, even though they say, if you get like 12 or 13 of these, you're like a mastermind. It's hard. Okay, Cleveland, up at the 10 spot.
Well, Cleveland's tough, but I think they got to go offensive line because Baker Mayfield ends up on his back too much. Again, just like all these other, what's the common denominator with these teams with young quarterbacks? You have to protect them. You got to protect the neck. You can't let your quarterback on their back. No matter what weapons you have, if they're on their back. So I really think the pick is offensive tackle. But who is it going to be? Is it going to be Austin Jackson, or is it going to be
Wirfs?
Tristan Wirfs. Tough. It's tough. I think Wirfs is good, but he's not a left tackle. You know what I mean? He's more of a right side, but he has potential to move over. Mm-hmm. The Browns definitely need to get a tackle. It's going to be close. But I still think that they value, like I said, linemen over anybody. I think that the pick is going to be Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle out of Iowa.
Okay. I like this mock so far. It's interesting. I've seen Becton go outside the top 10, so I like seeing somebody inside the top 10 that a lot of people aren't projecting, or that other people aren't. Some people aren't.
The other guy I would look at Cleveland to get, they would maybe look into, this is what I have on my notes, I have Jedrick Willis, offensive tackle out of Alabama. So if they don't go Wirfs, I could see them going towards Willis because he's a dominating tackle who played in the SEC. So you got to look at that. They may value that SEC tape a little bit more than Wirfs, who played at Iowa. But Iowa, they build great blockers. There's a guy on the 49ers. I don't know if you guys know his name. His name is George Kittle. He's a hell of a blocker.
Is he over the middle?
He's over the middle. Kittle over the middle. You guys might want to look at his stuff. He's a hell of a blocker. So. Okay. This is where it gets tricky right here, Smitty. This is where I start to panic a little as a Niner fan.
Okay.
Because the wide receivers are coming off the board. If they haven't been taken yet, it's going to be crazy because there's some really, really nice. You know what's going on. There's some great wide receivers in this draft. And the New York Jets, they desperately, desperately need to get a weapon for Sam Darnold. If they think he's going to be the future of this team, if they think he's going to be something special, they need a damn weapon for the man. And he lost Robbie Anderson this offseason, right? They got really nothing to throw to. You got Le'Veon Bell and a whole bunch of nothing other than that. But at the same token, they don't have much of an offensive line. So your quarterback, who you are putting all this faith into, this franchise quarterback that you have, he's not going to do nothing when he's on his back. So to me, it's going to come down to a wide receiver or whoever the best offensive tackle is. And right now on my board, I have Jedrick Willis. But I do not think that the Raiders or the Jets are going to take Jedrick here. I think that they go with the wide receiver. And with the number 11 pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select wide receiver out of Oklahoma, CeeDee Lamb. Sam Darnold, CeeDee Lamb on Sundays is going to be nice.
I don't know if I like that for Lamb, but yeah, I hope Ruggs goes there.
We talked about
that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think Ruggs deserves to go as the first wide receiver. I'm just hoping the Jets are going to not waste away. And I'm not saying that Lamb can't find a way. He's that good. But Darnold's not the worst quarterback ever. I hate Gase. I think he's
Gase. I don't like. This is what I've done. I was really thinking about. I was thinking about this all day. Really have. And you know what? I think Darnold has talent. He's got an arm. He's good. He's not a horrible quarterback. It's Adam Gase who's horrible, right? But I think if you give him a guy like CeeDee Lamb, he's going to improve. He's going to have a reliable target. And, I get a lot of crap because people think I'm anti-CeeDee Lamb because I'm so pro-Jerry Judy. That's not the case. I think CeeDee Lamb's a hell of a wide receiver. And to me, his pro comp is DeAndre Hopkins. If he's anything like DeAndre Hopkins, you can be a pretty garbage quarterback, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to make you look good. What did DeAndre Hopkins say the other night? He said he was doing it with scrub quarterbacks. So if Sam Darnold, if you consider him a scrub, you throw the ball to a guy like CeeDee Lamb, who's supposed to be like DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to make you look pretty good. So you got to take a risk sometimes. As much as they need an offensive lineman, I think they go wide receiver, and CeeDee Lamb's the pick, man.
Yeah, I mean it's something that I think could make sense to the Jets when on the clock. And honestly, Judy is a different wide receiver, and they may be looking for that Lamb type. There are some people, some NFL circles, I don't agree with them. Let me just preface that I do not agree with these stances. But there's a lot of people saying that Judy may not be as well liked by NFL teams as people are suggesting, and I disagree. But maybe the Jets are that one organization that people are talking to that are like, we like Lamb one, as a top wide receiver. So Judy to Oakland.
So with the number 12 pick in the NFL draft, I got to take a pause here for a second because the Raiders would be so bad to pass on Jerry Judy. If you pass and you're the Raiders and you're sitting there with Jerry Judy. Right there, the coldest route runner in the NFL in the draft. The guy has all the potential in the world. If you think if they pass on this guy, they're never going to regret it. The Niners are going to swoop this man up. With the number 12 pick in the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Jerry Judy, wide receiver out of Alabama.
Real quickly,
I'm going to be in tears.
I see a few comments in here. Guys, this is a mock draft for the NFL teams, not where we rank them. We have Judy. We've made it very clear that Judy's our number one wide receiver across the board. Doesn't mean the other NFL teams are going to do that. So to all the comments saying, why would you pick Judy over Lamb? We wouldn't. We wouldn't. These are the NFL teams we're trying to predict.
The mock draft. This is how the cookie crumbles. And listen to this, man. You know me. I am the biggest Jerry Judy fan out there, man. I love this guy because, like you said, people discredit Judy. They give all this. There's a lot of negative publicity out there for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know what Jerry Judy did to people. This guy is so good. But you got Chris Sims out there. Didn't even put him in his top 5. And Chris Sims, who I used to respect, this guy is just been dragging Judy in the mud. And he's Shanahan's friend. And he's dragging this guy. So, to me, it sounds like he's creating smoke, so maybe the Niners can get Judy. But ultimately, I think the Raiders take if they pass on a guy like Judy, holy moly. Because I don't see them taking Ruggs over Jerry Judy. Ruggs has speed. He's got that ability. We've talked about it. He's got the Tyreek Hill potential, but he's also got that John Ross bust factor. Because speed guys, it's one or the other. They're a boom or bust. They got a lot of injuries. Speed doesn't last forever, and hamstring injuries can flare up. So, if they take Ruggs, the Niners better run to the podium, get that pick in, and say, "Yo, we want Jerry Judy. No take back, take it." But ultimately, with the number 13 pick in the NFL draft, my San Francisco 49ers. You ready for this? They select defensive lineman out of South Carolina. Javon Kinlaw. Oh, wow, the Niner fans are going to hate me. And the Niner faithful are going to be mad for taking a lineman, another defensive lineman. But here's the thing. We traded away DeForest Buckner. We need depth on that D-line. Yeah, we have some good players, Kentavious Street, Julian Taylor, DJ Jones, but all of them are coming off of major injuries.
Ronald Blair, torn ACL as well. We got to keep the strength of our team strong. There's plenty of wide receivers. We can get one at 31 or trade back and get a.
Dre is asking, how is Jerry Judy not in your top 5? I don't know how many more ways I can explain this. This is an NFL mock draft. We're predicting what the NFL teams will do, Dre. We're not drafting based on what we like.
If I drafted on what I like, Jerry Judy be first pick.
I know. Judy would be my number. I go Judy, Lamb, Mims. No, I go Judy, Lamb, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, then CeeDee Lamb, then Mims. That would be my draft, Dre.
Yep.
And you would know it was me GMing all those teams. We're predicting what the teams are going to do, and he's giving you his reasons why. If anybody thinks that the Jets aren't capable of taking Ruggs as the first wide receiver, over Judy, you aren't looking at who's coaching that team. So, yeah. Kinlaw, you think people will be upset if that happens? Like half the people will be upset?
Fans are going to be mad because they don't want another. This is going to be the first straight year we take a lineman first round. Like, you know how mad Niner fans are going to be? They're not going to.
Dre likes Kinlaw.
We got Solomon Thomas. So we had DeForest Buckner, Arik Armstead, Solomon Thomas, Nick Bosa. We've taken all these linemen first round. Nobody's going to like it, but it's the smart move. It's the logical move. Because then we can trade 31, get a receiver, get a lineman, and get a cornerback and a tight end.
All right, Tampa Bay is on at 14. We talked about this off air real quick. What an awesome pick they have to add to their already, improving offense.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers right here can go wide receiver. Henry Ruggs. Can you imagine today?
Chris Sims. Sorry, Dre was referring to Chris Sims. Dre, I'm sorry. Take a lap, Smitty. Go ahead, sorry.
This is crazy because I almost put the Niners taking Henry Ruggs at 13. We're going to do another mock, and I'm going to change it up. This is our first mock we're doing. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at this spot, they just take linemen because they got to protect Tom Brady. They take Jedrick Willis, tackle out of Alabama here.
Okay.
15.
Jedrick Wills. They're taking Wills. You said.
Yeah, Jedrick Wills.
Okay.
I think right here the Broncos are probably going absolutely nuts here. They run up to the podium and they take Henry Ruggs, wide receiver at Alabama.
Woo!
Good move for them.
What do you think it does to Sutton?
What's that?
What do you think that does to Sutton? Help him? Hurt him?
It's going to help him. He needs.
Okay.
If they give him another target, he's going to get single coverage. It's going to be like in Tampa Bay. You got Godwin and Evans. You got two great receivers. And then you get a home run. So in Denver, you get a home run threat. They're going to have to double him up. Boom, Sutton, wide open man-to-man coverage. It's going to be great for him.
Okay, let me update this. It's going to be interesting where Ruggs, who's considering Ruggs. It really will be tough to.
I know the Niners are. I know we have a chance to take them. It's going to be close. I mean, I might look back in this and say.
Alex says Evans, Godwin, Ruggs. Alex, you've been saying nothing but offensive players though, so I know you're fantasy geared. But that we're laughing about that. That could happen. Anything could happen in this league. But again, remember, this is not our ranking. This is what we're predicting the NFL teams to do. Okay, so Atlanta Falcons up at 16.
The Atlanta Falcons right here. At this point, if they're looking at the board, I know they need a defensive lineman, but right here, C.J. Henderson's still available, the best available cornerback in the draft. To me, it'd be crazy to pass up on him. I know he's probably on their board. I think the Falcons would take cornerback out of Florida, C.J. Henderson, and this would be a steal right there.
Okay, recap 9 through 16, or if you need me to do it, I can read it off too. But
9 through 16, we got Derrick Brown, D lineman out of Auburn. We got who did I say?
Wirfs.
Tristan Wirfs.
Mm-hmm.
We had Tristan Wirfs. Cleveland takes Tristan Wirfs. The Jets take CeeDee Lamb. The Raiders take Jerry Judy. The Niners take Javon Kinlaw. Buccaneers take Jedrick Wills. The Broncos take Henry Ruggs III. And the Falcons take C.J. Henderson.
And that wraps up our top 16.
Yeah.
So let me put this little guy in the corner so we can reference it later. And then I'll drag on the screen the 17 through 24 picks. Let's see here. I'm going to have to close this because I have too much going on here. Let's see. Close that. Close that. Okay, 17 through 24. We got Dallas up at the 17 spot. Who are they taking?
Dallas. Let me think about this one. They could go a lot of options here. They can get a cornerback here. With this pick, there's some good players here. I think they maybe look at edge rusher too. There's Clavon Chaisson here. Kenneth Murray, linebackers available here. They probably were hoping they'd get someone like Javon Kinlaw, so they're not going to be able to get that. I think at this spot, they take they look at cornerback maybe, and they take Christian Fulton, cornerback at LSU. He's a really solid man cover corner here.
Okay. Fulton to the Cowboys. That'll help out their defense quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, Miami is up again.
Miami needs so they got a quarterback. What do you do when you get a quarterback? You got to protect him, give him a lineman, protect him for years to come. So they're going to take a lineman here. I think the best available at this point would be Austin Jackson, tackle out of USC. I think would be that move right here.
Okay, Jackson it is.
They could take Joshua Jones. I think Jackson's a little better.
Oakland is up at 19.
Oakland needs a cornerback, and they need one bad. I think right here, with this pick, they're either going to look at A.J. Terrell, Trayvon Diggs, someone like that. I think Diggs has fallen, though, in the draft. The stock is dropping. I think right here, though, they're going to – A.J. Terrell, to me, fits the mold of the Raiders. He's, a tall, physical, rangy guy. He played in Clemson, so, he's got the media exposure. I think they go A.J. Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson.
You know what? We got one comment here. Somebody said pretty good looking mock so far. It's hard to do these mock drafts because you have so many people. Like, you get the most angry. First of all, thumb up the video on your way in, or if you've been sitting here. We've got 30 to 50 people in and out, and 12 thumbs up, really. This is tough stuff to do. So Dr. Raj is dropping some knowledge here. And to not have a bunch of hate already is a win in my book. Because people get so mad when you don't pick who they want for their team. They just get upset.
And I've realized that because doing this as a fan, like when I did a mock last week where it was basically Niners take Kinlaw, and people hated it, man. They did not like it. Then like the next day, people looked at it, they're like, we looked at your mock was solid. I'd be happy with it. It's because there's people out there that get you hyped up on one player or a certain guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guilty of this. I used to do that. I used to sit there and say, gotta pick this out, gotta pick this out. Like, of course, I love Terry Judy, but I'm not going to sit here and say we have to get him. There's so many options. There's so many things. And at the end of the day, other teams want those players too. So if another team is ahead of us and they take a player that we want, what are we supposed to do? Cry about it? We got to take the next available player that's best for our system. So that's the way I look at a mock draft. And every team, they have a draft board. You know what I mean? So they're only going to draft the guys they've been looking, like, when they have those pre-draft visits, the scouting visits, they're only going to draft guys that they've been looking at. So people get mad, why don't they even draft this guy? If they haven't looked at the guy, they're not going to draft the guy.
Jacksonville, there you were saying they could go wide receiver up above. So do they?
I think they're going to keep building that defense because a couple of years ago when Jacksonville was pretty good, the heart was that defense. And I think they're just going to keep stacking defense because right here, looking at my draft list of all the talent, there's Clavon Chaisson, probably the second best pass rusher in the league, right behind Chase Young. I think they might take Clavon Chaisson, edge rusher from LSU. I think that would be a damn good pick right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chaisson it is.
Yeah.
Chasing the defense.
Chasing the defense. Okay, here we go. With the 21st pick in the NFL draft. This is tough. This is where it gets interesting because the Philadelphia Eagles, they need a wide receiver.
I told you this off camera. This is what I think they're going to pick.
Mm-hmm.
This kid would be a stud. This would be a solid pick.
Perfect place.
This is going to be Justin Jefferson, wide receiver at LSU. This would be a home run hit for them. Carson Wentz to Jefferson.
I feel like it's the one thing I'd bet on if I could. You know, I feel it. I just feel like that's he's a long receiver, still very quick, perfect for Wentz to, that's toss it up, let him go get.
That's the perfect receiver he gets. Yeah, he can go up, get the high balls. He's good hands. He's got good speed for his size. He's a perfect fit for the Eagles, and he's gritty. They need the Eagles. When you think about the Eagles, you think of those gritty, hard-nosed guys, and that's the type of guy he is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Minnesota 22.
Minnesota Vikings. So this offseason, they traded away Stephon Diggs. They need a wide receiver. I know they got Adam Thielen, but sometimes his hamstring ain't feeling. So you got to get another receiver because Thielen's not going to do it all on his own.
Nope.
He needs another guy to help him thrive. They take a wide receiver. The question is, who's the wide receiver they take? I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to take Brandon Aiyuk out of Arizona State here.
I love Aiyuk, man. I think he's such an undervalued prospect, and he's climbing into a lot of first-round draft boards, according to the stuff I'm reading.
I've been looking at it, and I think they value this guy. Look at the Vikings. He fits their mold. He's a very good route runner. He's a polished route runner. And what did Stephon Diggs do? He was a very polished route runner. You replace Stephon Diggs with a guy who has similar traits, and I think Aiyuk is the guy that you replace him with. The only other guy I was looking at here to put in the spot would be Denzel Mims. It's close. But
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know that teams are as high on him as you and I are, or especially me. I've been. He's my number 3 wide receiver of this entire draft class. I freaking love Mims. I think Mims is the real deal. It's tough to say. Maybe other teams will. Only takes one, but Mims is a freaking beast. So we got Aiyuk out of Arizona State University. Very talented guy. Reminds me of we were trying to comp him the other day, and he reminds me of I said Debo and morph with someone. You didn't like that. Who was the guy you said? And I remember I agreed with what you said. You gave me a good comp that I was like, yeah, you know what? I like that comp better than mine.
Was it Kenny Golladay? I think.
No, I don't think it was Kenny Golladay. I don't know. He's He's just good. We'll leave it at that. New England. By the way, I have to end at on the top of the hour, so we have 20 minutes to roll through this. New England. Who are you slotting for this pick for New England at 23?
All right, New England Patriots. You know what? They lost Tom Brady. They got Brian Hoyer and as their QB2. You know what? I know a lot of people sitting here saying, next year they're gonna tank for a quarterback for what's the guy from Clemson? What's his name off the top? Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are saying that next year, but you know what? They're taking a quarterback this year, and that quarterback is Jordan Love from Utah State. I think
Love.
I think Bill Belichick is going to take Love, and he's going to laugh at everybody's face when he does it.
Yeah, I wonder if he's Bill's kind of quarterback, but at the same time, I think he's, in my opinion, easily the argument to be made for the second or third best QB in this draft class when all is said and done. But that's me.
Potential, man. He's got the potential. He's got the tools. Tools.
All right, number 24 to the Saints. Who are they grabbing?
Saints are gonna go defense. Let me look at some of these prospects I have on my board. It's hard to project with the Saints. Offense. The Saints have a good offense. Do they really need much? Not much. They would probably, I think they could use a linebacker. Maybe they take, I'm going to go with Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma. They need a fast guy on their defense, a guy that can go lateral side to side. They're playing against CMC in the NFC South. You need a guy that can help kind of contain him. I think Kenneth Murray's the pick, linebacker out of Oklahoma.
He's ranked oftentimes in the top 14 to 16 overall, so that would be a steal if he fell. And guys fall all the time, so I'm not saying that's that. Okay, so we got Dallas going Fulton. We have Miami taking Jackson. We have Oakland taking Terrell. We have Jacksonville taking Chaisson. We have the stud wide receiver Jefferson going to the Eagles. We have Aiyuk, the wide receiver out of the Arizona State University, going to the Minnesota Vikings. We have Jordan Love going to New England, and Murray dropping to the Saints at 24. So now we're on the home stretch here, heading toward your 49ers' second pick that they have in this first round. Minnesota is going to get another pick here at 25. They already have in our mock here, they have Aiyuk.
That's right. Minnesota, they took Aiyuk. I had them taking Aiyuk. I think that if they're going to look for, I don't know if they're going to go, you know what, they lost Antoine Winfield this offseason, right? So I think that they maybe take a cornerback here at this spot. Let me take a look and see who's available here in this area.
I like Computer Bob says Jordan Love to the Saints if he is still available. That definitely could be in the cards. I wouldn't put that.
Love?
Yeah, if he's there for the Saints, I could see that.
You know, it's
when they picked.
The Vikings are hard to progress on the second pick. Like I said, I think they can either take a cornerback or they can look at just the best available talent. At this spot, I think if they're looking right here, to just keep building defense. Because they also lost, who's the Everson Griffin? I think they lost Everson Griffin. So maybe they add to that pass rush. And they get Uter Gross Matos, Penn State edge rusher. Uter Gross Matos, edge rusher off of Penn State.
Okay. I might need you to help me abbreviate this one. What's the best way to abbreviate this, do you think?
Gross Matos. Grossmatos.
We'll just put Matos.
Yeah, Matos.
Okay. We are good to go.
Okay. Who's next?
Miami, again.
Miami Dolphins. Look at this.
Look at that Miami Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins could very well take a wide receiver, but you know what? They got Devontae Parker, and they put a lot of money into this man last season. So guess what? Right now, the Miami Dolphins, they're looking at a shiny weapon, and his name is Jonathan Taylor, running back out of Wisconsin. And they get this shiny weapon, Jonathan Taylor.
I've been waiting for a running back.
They got their tackle earlier. Jonathan Taylor's a home run pick right here.
I've been waiting for a running back, Dr. Raj. This is where I come in. Jonathan Taylor is NFL ready. The concerns, fumbling. The concerns are that maybe he's not the best running back in the draft class. Those are the concerns. You could argue J.K. Dobbins. You could argue Swift. Some will say Cam Akers. I will not. But I will say J.K. is my favorite running backs for all you in the chat about to go. I can't believe you take Taylor over J.K. or Swift. Well, probably Swift. This is us predicting what the teams are going to do, and Taylor's probably looked at by more teams as the NFL, the number one rookie coming into this draft class. It's just what the NFL teams view him as. So we're not necessarily saying he might be Dr. Raj's favorite. He's not mine. I like JK, but I agree with this pick for the Dolphins. I think they're going to go Taylor, and he'll fit in good there. He'll be good.
You'll be very good there.
Seattle. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to go back. The reason I really like Taylor is he's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a durable running back. In the NFL, durability is key, especially a running back. If they're going to be pounding the ball, they need a guy that can withstand the beatings, And like you said, I think you said it really perfectly. He's the most pro-ready back. Like, Dobbins might have a higher ceiling, but right now, if you're going to start a team and you want to insert a guy to start your offense, Jonathan Taylor's that guy.
And I got one comment by Colby saying running back in round one's pretty bold. I like it, though. I don't know. I think one's going to go in the first round.
You got to take one of them.
Taylor's not going to make it out of the first round. But you're right. Things have changed, man. Things used to be different.
Have definitely changed. No, he's right. It is kind of bold because people don't value a running back like they used to, because you can take a running back late in the league,
right,
or late in the draft. And
I think what helps Miami take that risk is all the picks they have. They're going to be like, look, best player in the draft, at this point. Exactly. So Seattle, 27.
Seattle, you know what? Seattle, they have no offensive line. The Niners play them every year. And one thing is for sure, Russell Wilson's running for his life every single day of his life. They need an offensive line. Right now on my board, I'm looking. Best available offensive line is probably Ezra Cleveland or Joshua Jones, but I don't think Ezra Cleveland would be the pick here. I think it'd be Joshua Jones, the offensive tackle out of Houston.
Plugged in. Baltimore at 28.
Hold up.
Are they gonna give Lamar another wide receiver a weapon? Could they get Mims? Would Mims land in with the Ravens? That would be interesting. I don't know if I love that for Hollywood, but I like it for Mims.
No, they're not going to take Mims. They're going to take defense because the Ravens, what do they build their team around? Strong defense and a hard-nosed running game. They're going to take a linebacker. Linebacker is probably, Kenneth Murray's off the board. He's already taken. So the next best linebacker available is Patrick McQueen, I believe. Let me see. Patrick McQueen, is he available? Yeah, Patrick McQueen is going to be the pick linebacker.
Okay.
They got to go defense. I see the Ravens taking every prognostication I've seen on the Ravens is typically linebacker, and I think that's going to be Patrick McQueen. He's like a lot of people have him in the top 15, top 20. So this would be a nice pick for them here.
Okay. Plugged it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Patrick McQueen is in. Next up in the mock would be Tennessee at 29.
29. So I think that the Titans, they need to get some defense, right? So like a cornerback or a safety. I see them taking cornerback for some reason. It's tough though. Who do I really think?
Did I put it wrong on the screen there?
Hold on.
I can't. It's frozen here. I'm having a tough time typing. It's It's Queen. It says McQueen on screen. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on, sorry. No, give me a minute. I lost my thing. It froze up on me. So where we at? We're on the Titans. Oh man, this is tough. Let's see. Titans cornerback. I think the best available cornerback at this spot is going to be Jalen Johnson, a cornerback out of Utah. So I think that they take Jalen Johnson here.
Okay. All right, and Green Bay is now up.
Green Bay, they probably were looking to get a cornerback as well to solidify that spot, but because I think they were valuing that guy, if they don't trade up, so I could see them actually trading up, but if it doesn't happen, this is what they're going to do. They're going to take a shot on a wide receiver to help out Aaron Rodgers. They got Adams. You need another guy on the outside. You know, typically when Rodgers has had his most success, it's because he's had two really good receivers over the course of his career. And I think this is the pick. Denzel Mims is going to be the receiver that the Packers draft.
I like it.
You like it? What do you think?
I mean, so I'm going to be torn a little bit. I want him to go and be the clear number one somewhere. But
can you imagine him and Tay Adams together as a rookie?
Yeah.
As a rookie season, this would be perfect because eventually Tay Adams is going to be a little faded out. He's going to get older. So in 2 years, this is where you think about dynasty, Smitty. So I'm going to pull fantasy on you. You think about dynasty. In 2 years, Tay Adams may be fading away.
Yeah.
And then Denzel Mims will be rising up.
Now they just need to get a good QB in there for him for the long term because Rodgers is going to have 2 or 3 years. Well, that's more than most people will predict for him. But they got a lot of time to build around that. So I love it. Get Mims where he needs to be, and then when Rodgers is done, Mims will be ready to roll, and they'll have somebody in there ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is the San Francisco 49ers. We just in time. We have 9 minutes, so you can elaborate as long as you want on this pick, and then you'll drop the KC pick, and then our mock draft will be done.
So 49ers are not going to take this. They're not drafting at 31. They're trading the pick. I don't know to who, but we're trading this damn pick, and we're going to make it. We're going to turn water into wine. We're getting at least 2 draft picks out of this, a second rounder and a third rounder. We're not taking 31. So if somebody else is picking this pick, and I have no clue who it's going to be. We're not taking a pick. But if I have to pick, if I'm forced to pick, for all purposes,
what's up, James?
Intention purposes, the Niners would take I guess I'll take a receiver, and we'll take, who's left? Who's available here?
Claypool's here, but I mean, he's not necessarily the best wide receiver to a lot of people.
See, that's what I'm saying. You don't take a receiver and reach. You draft down, you trade back, and then you can get a receiver and a cornerback or lineman. So that's the hard part of taking a lineman. If we take a lineman early, that's why a lot of people are saying we take Ruggs at 13 because he's a much higher, a better value.
Well, who did you have slotted here before we came on? Because you probably had that, but I don't know if you're taking a change in direction because you're going to make it for the 49ers and you were going to make it for another team. But
no,
what?
I already knew. I have a big feeling we're trading, so I really
T. Higgins.
I changed my mocks many times. I could see T. Higgins being a pick here if they had to pick a receiver here.
Claypool,
for
Higgins.
No purposes, we'll put T. Higgins at the spot, but I don't see. They haven't met with T. Higgins, so that's the thing. Actually, no, I take it back. If we got to slot a guy here, just for all intents and purposes, it's Jalen Reagor. We've met with him a couple times, so let's go with Jalen Reagor.
Okay. Reagor. And you know what? He fits the mold, you could say, for the kind of player that I've been talking about that I think the 49ers would be ideally ideal fit for, because speed, return, gives you so much support for Debo and Kittle, which Claypool would be another beast here in my opinion, but KC, number 32. And then we'll have you kind of wrap up this.
They're going to take a cornerback, safety. I'm not sure who they're going to take. Maybe they even take a center or a guard, something like that. I could see. You know what? Kansas City. Let's slot them. Let's take Grant Delpit, 32. Round out the first round with Grant Delpit.
Okay,
I can see the Chiefs go a lot of ways. They got their defense back, but they got the Honey Badger, who's not getting any younger, and he was the captain of that defense. But you get a Grant Delpit, and he could kind of show him the ropes, and then he can be the second coming of the Honey Badger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Grant Delpit, I would say. That would be a solid pick.
Okay, so who's missing? Okay, so for everybody freaking out that their favorite player is not in this mock, who's missing based on value? Like, hey, this guy should have went, but teams are not going to draft him high, or maybe you just predicting that they fell out, but you really think that they're deserving of a top, 32 overall pick.
There's a lot, man. There's AJ. Did we pick AJ Terrell? No, we did pick it. Cesar Ruiz, lineman, Michigan. He's on the outskirts. Xavier McKinney.
What do you think about J.K. Dobbins to the Kansas City Chiefs here at 32?
That's not a bad move either. I think that that's a likely pick. J.K. Dobbins has potential, but again, running back in the first round, it's kind of like we said earlier, kind of a bold move, so maybe not. AJ Espinosa, pass rusher. He's a very valuable asset to many of these teams. AJ Espinosa, I could see him being in a first round pick. There's still so much that Trayvon Diggs. He's got talent. I mean, there's this year's draft is just it's
pretty
insane. Lloyd
pretty sick.
Cushenberry, he's a center out of USC. This guy, that's another guy I could see the
Concussion Berry.
Cushenberry, yeah.
Concussion Berry, I can just see it now. Concussion Berry. He gets concussion, it's over. He's forever.
Lloyd Cushenberry with the concussion.
Lord, a concussion Berry.
So this was just our first one. This is not my final mock.
Yeah.
I'm doing on Wednesday.
Yeah, for people.
I'm going to do my mock draft tomorrow for the Niners. I might keep that Javon Kinlaw pick because the reason I made that pick. I've been really studying this week the players that the Niners have been meeting with. You know, the pre-draft rank tracker and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've been looking to a T, and I've been trying to get a sense of what Lynch is going to do. His first round pick was hard, but those later round picks, you can probably pull that sheet and say, okay, they're going to get some of these guys on that list that they've been looking. Because I went back, like the other day, and I was looking back since Lynch came, and I looked at all the pre-draft visits that he had with the players, and like the whole, he basically leaves his trail. There's certain guys that he looks at, and then they draft. Like everybody we draft last season, he met with at least 2 or 3 times. So
I'm going to put it up on screen here so everybody can take a look at the final results here.
What do you think?
I think it's good because, this is tough. And I love when people rip on a mock draft, and especially when they're like, oh my God, no one's going to take Love. And you see like 4 other comments were like, Love wouldn't last that long. Like everyone's opinions are all over the map. Like why people come with these strong ass, crazy, hardcore opinions.
It's just assumptions.
Yeah, like, I mean, I could see somebody coming in and saying, hey, I don't like Johnson to the Titans, but anything happen. It's when they come in and they go, that's not happening. I know what's gonna happen. This is not it. It's like, dude.
It's so funny, man. There's a couple other guys that I've looked at that could be first round picks that we didn't talk about. Ross Blacklock, he's a guy. You got to be careful when you say his name because someone's gonna mess that name up.
It'll be the commissioner.
It's not gonna be what you want to hear. There's another guy. DeAndre Swift.
Oh yeah, he's in the mix of that 32 pick, I think, to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I could see the Chiefs kind of taking him. There's a lot of guys like it's Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, but I will say that this NFL the NFL has maybe 4 teams that are really running back needy. And when you're talking about, this is what people don't understand when they want running backs in the first round, like in the chat here, like, oh my God, Swift would have went, JK would have went to, like, with 4 teams, you're talking about those 4 teams needing to be in the mindset of, I will invest early on a draft on a running back. And since most of the league is in the thinking that they don't want to pay big dollars or high draft capital for a running back, your odds of getting a running back with those 4 teams thinking like you are slimmer than you think in today's day. So
yeah.
But I think JK at 32 is a possibility. But
I think JK or DeAndre Swift, Chiefs might just say, screw it, we're going to add just dynamic player on offense because you can't stop our offense as it is. Now try even more.
Yeah.
So I could see them taking a running back.
So we go on live Wednesday on IG or on YouTube to do the final mock. We can do it on IG on the marker board, like we did last time.
Yeah, let's do it IG. We'll do so the followers can see it. They'll like that. We'll do a final NFL mock draft.
Wednesday.
Same technique as
we
did tonight.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll definitely take care of that. Real quickly before I jump, because I do have to jump here in 1 minute. The picks I like in here that I think are going to be the exact way that it's going to unfold is Judy to Oakland. I think that's pretty much it feels right. Yeah, I think. Let's see here. Aiyuk to Minnesota. It's tough to imagine where he's going to land, but I do like that.
That's a nice pick.
New England getting Love. I kind of agree with Computer Bob. I think Love in New Orleans could end up being the case. And somebody said a comment here where they said Love won't fall to the second round when I made that comment, and Computer Bob did. I'm saying
Taysom Hill.
I'm saying he could go at 23. He won't last to the second round. So whoever made that comment, I wasn't suggesting in the second round. I'm suggesting Love maybe at pick 24. Hill. I don't know if they're flexing Hill as their future, but I think that was more of a positional thing for Breeze and getting Breeze in there. And Taysom Hill's never thrown an NFL touchdown pass. Kind of hard to plan around that as your franchise QB.
I agree.
MT, thank you for the super chat, my man. MT says, what does Doc think about Cole Kmet?
Tight end.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's good, man. I like that guy. He's probably the most well-rounded tight end in the draft.
Rockin'.
He's not my favorite tight end in the draft, but he's a damn good tight end.
He wants to know. He wants to know if the Niners are going to rock the double.
Oh, we're rocking the double tight end, but it's not going to be Hemet. They haven't even. I don't think we've had a draft meeting with Hemet. So the Niners have met with Devin Assisi from UCLA, and there's another guy, Hunter Bryant from Washington, and then there's a guy from Portland State. He's what's his name? Topuwimu, I can't think of his name. He's a tight end out of Portland State that they're looking at. So he's like a late round, maybe even undrafted kind of guy.
Yeah.
Hunter Bryant is the guy. Look at Hunter Bryant. That can be the pick that the Niners did. They're rocking 2 tight ends without a doubt in my mind. I know they're rocking 2 tight ends. They're rocking 3 tight ends. So let's just talk about that real quick. The Niners have Ross Dwelley. People forget about Ross Dwelley. This guy was solid. When Kittle got hurt last season, Dwelley was the guy that stepped in, and he had some big games. The game against Arizona, 2 touchdown passes. There was a game against Washington where he had a clutch pass or clutch catch to kind of help seal the deal and win the game. And he's had a couple games like that throughout the season. So Ross Dwelley is going to be an important player, but the Niners want another tight end to help Kittle and to take pressure off of him and Dwelley.
To help him.
Shanahan likes to use multiple tight ends. He likes to rotate motion, get those tight ends not only just to help in the passing game, but in the run game. The way he uses his tight ends,
he likes his tight ends.
An extra lineman.
He likes his tight ends. I have to end it.
Tight ends, man.
I have to end it here, Dr. Raj. But you heard it Wednesday night. We're doing a mock draft on Instagram. Go to RSF 49ers. Go there anyway and subscribe or follow this man on IG. RSF 49ers, the best 49er page. Or don't. The best. He's got 101,000 followers on IG for a reason. Dr. Raj, thank you. I'll see you Wednesday, man.
No doubt, man. That was a good mock draft.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, man.